So hey everyone, welcome to the channel. As always, thanks for stopping by and hanging out for a few minutes. My name is Rich Charpentier, and if you're new to the channel, we do a lot of drone talk here and mobile tech talk and occasionally some travel talk. Today, of course, we're talking drones again, and same location as last time. I really like it out here in the Granite Dells, if you can't tell. Today, we're going to be playing around with Drone Harmony, and we're going to start getting into some more advanced stuff. So we've played with some waypoint missions. The next thing that I'm interested in doing is a simple model, and we're going to keep it really super simple. So behind me, we've got this gazebo, okay, where events happen. So if you're planning a wedding and you want to be out in the Granite Dells, you can actually reserve the gazebos here. So it's a great little park, and what we're going to do today is we're going to use the DJI Mavic Pro, and we're gonna do a little model of this gazebo if we can. So this is my first time fully testing out doing modeling with Drone Harmony. So I've got the drone over here. I'm all hooked up with the Android tablet. So we're actually gonna set the mission up together here. So we're gonna walk through this. We're gonna show you on the app itself how we set up the area. We're going to do two things. I want to do an orbit, and I also want to do a grid pattern on this. So that's what we're going to take a look at in just a moment. And so we'll be switching over to this screen mostly, and not so much me on this screen. And before we get to everything, I also want to let you know that a car is coming by. No, in all seriousness, I've already done my prep work. I've checked the drone over. I've also submitted my Lance authorization request and gotten the approval, since we're within 5 miles of the Prescott Airport here. So all set up with Lance, check the drone over, check the controller, check the batteries, everything's looking good. So the next part of this video is going to be walking through the setup on Drone Harmony, plotting out our area of what we're going to be modeling, and then we're going to go ahead and fly those missions. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this video recording for a few minutes while I get everything set up, and then we'll switch over to the Android screen and fly these models, and then afterward we'll offload them at the office and we'll run it through Metashape and see what we get. So fingers crossed. We'll see if we like this. So here we are on the Android app. Now I did my pre-planning beforehand, but we're going to walk through setting this up together on the Android app. So we're going to be using Drone Harmony Plus today. So I'm just tapping into Drone Harmony Plus, and there it goes. It's zoomed in and it said DJI software libraries. They've been updated. And so what you're looking at on screen here is actually my location. And we've got the gazebo right behind us. So what I'd like to do before we did anything else, I actually took the drone for a flight. Where I'm at is a little lower than where the gazebo's at. So I'm considering this 0 feet above ground level. And so the peak of that from where I am is at 25 feet. And this one tree over here is at 30 feet. So to keep this super simple, I'm going to block out the area and I'm going to tell it that the structure is 30 feet. So it's going to be just a little above where the structure really is. But, you know, just for safety here. So I've zoomed in on the map. We're connected via network. So I'm actually using a phone data plan to get these maps updated. And we want to do a flight around this gazebo. So I'm going to go over onto the left-hand side of Drone Harmony, and we're going to plot this new mission with their polygon tool. So there we go. I've selected the polygon tool, and now I'm going to tap around the edges. Let's get that right to the correct edge. That one needs to be fixed. So we're just going to call, the whole reason I'm doing this is we're just going to call that structure 30. So let's set that, and let's do 30, and we're going to say done to that. There we go. So now I've got that set as 30. And that's all I really need to do here. I could tell it about all these other obstructions, but since I'm planning on flying above the actual level of that, we should be good enough. But I could plot a larger area around here and call all that 0. We're not going to do that. Right now, I'm liking what we're looking at. Let's go down to the bottom right. You can see our gazebo structure. on the 3D view, so that's really cool. Let's get out of the 3D view. And what do we want to do next? We actually want to set up a flight plan. I actually want to set up 2 different flight plans, but let's go one at a time. If I wanted to do the multi-grid, I would have to define a flat area, which is 0 feet above ground level. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that one alone. We're just going to do a plain old top down here. And click on the map to select the liftoff area. Well, that's where I am right now. And then click on the map to select the location. And I'm going to use the same as liftoff. And there we go. We can tap on the map to get more information. Oh, I've got a bug buzzing me. So there we go. So this was 30 feet tall. So let's go ahead and we're going to have that flight be 60 feet tall. We are also going to change the overlap here, and I would like to set the overlap to, let's do 70 and 70. So now, as you're seeing on screen, it has given us more of a grid pattern. We could even take that further, and maybe let's set that to 75 and 75 or 76. I can just tap that button down right there. There we go. And let's go look at the advanced really quick. We're using the Mavic Pro. We have default camera direction forward, and all right, that's looking good. We also have the gimbal pitch down right now is straight 90 degrees. We could, in fact, set that to -70. So that's what I'm going to do here, just to have a little bit of an angle to it so it's catching some of those edges. And there we go. So that's about where I'm going to want it, and as you can see, it's showing how the camera is going to be picking this off. This is looking good to me, and this is only mission number 1. We're going to do a second mission around this as well, as an orbit mission. So we'll pick that one up momentarily. But over on the right-hand bottom side, I'm going to go ahead and tell it to generate this flight. So now we can see our flight here, and there's our 30-foot building that we're going to be flying at 60 feet. On the right-hand side, we do have our little plus 60 feet shooting down, so that all is looking really good. The next thing that we're going to need to do is power on the drone, power on the controller, and then see about doing this flight. So I'm going to go ahead and power on the controller right here. I'm going to set that on my case, and then we're going to go power on the drone as well. And there we go. All right, the drone is powered up. Let's make sure, yes, we're all good here. So the drone is not in the air yet, but it will be very soon. Choose an app. So we're going to go with the DJI Plus. And right now, remote controllers connected, but the aircraft is not connected, so we're waiting for the aircraft to connect. And there we go. It's now connected. All right, so USB connected, aircraft connected, camera connected, compass is calibrated. We're going to go ahead and say close to this. And before I do anything else, I had forgotten one other thing. And that one other thing is that I should probably go ahead and save this one. So let's save this. Whoops. So we're going to call this Watson Grid. I'm going to hit save on that. So the flight plan's saved because we're going to be doing one other thing here as well. So our next step in this lineup here is actually to go tap on the right-hand side, and it shows us our top-down mission. It shows us where we're going to be getting our actual captured images. So those are all saying that they're at 90. So I messed up here and need to fix that, don't I? They shouldn't all be at 90. And let's update the altitude, and by relative or absolute. So I'm going with absolute, And that's what I did wrong before when I changed the elevation. So we're going to update that. And now if you look on the screen, all of those photo points are all being taken from 60 feet above ground level. So that's what I was after, so that's perfect. And I might just go back here and hit save again, since we made that change. And now we're good to go. So we're just waiting on a motor vehicle that's getting ready to pull out of here, and then we will start this mission up, have it fly this pattern, and then we'll move on to the next step. And now we should be good to go. So I'm hitting the play. Now, setting the flight speed, 8 miles per hour is definitely way too fast for this. I'm going to bring this down to, let's bring it down to 4.6 miles per hour. Precise image is stopping. Precise image is not stopping. I'm going to go ahead with precise images not stopping and see how that plays out for us. So we're going to take these images. We could do images every so many seconds. We could do video. So this could be kind of a flight around the structure in video, just if we were, let's say, inspecting the roof. So that's really nice. Set the camera triggering mode as distance-based. Autofocus is set to on. Auto exposure lock is locked. So there we go. Next. Return to home altitude at 98 feet. When the mission end action happens, let's have it land. And set signal loss action to continue the mission. We're not going to lose signal here. We're so very close to it. We're going to have the gimbal control as automatic. And so now it is showing us our takeoff and our landing area in 3 dimensions. So that's really... that's just such an interesting thing to see. If we have an emergency at any moment, we can flip between our P and S modes on the controller. We shouldn't have any emergencies. Down in the lower left-hand corner, it says do not show this page next time. You can check that off. My thoughts on that, these are great reminders when you're getting ready to do your flights. With that in mind, I would rather just leave that up there and not hide it. And so, okay, we've got the flight mode in P. We've got satellite count 17, satellite fix is excellent, drone activation state, and home position. So we're looking good. We're looking ready to launch the drone. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And the drone is making its way up to go perform its mission. And now it's heading on over and getting ready to take its photos. So now this is just a matter of watching the drone do its job. So let's see how it does. And if you can't hear in the background, it is making the camera shutter noise. And I think that this is still too fast, so I might have made a really big mistake here in the speed that we're going at. And we're just gonna, we're gonna know about that when we get back to the office and offload this. So it is getting all of those images, so that's great. I just think number 1, maybe I should have had some more elevation, and number 2, I really should have slowed this down, just watching the drone's movements. The other item that I could have done is had it stop and take each photo. So we just snapped off a bunch of photos, and we're gonna go with this one. Maybe we'll refly it at 90 feet afterward. The drone is making its way back to its home point to do its landing now. So as with other drone flight apps, it's pretty spot on with this. So it's doing a good job so far, and I'm impressed. Like I've said before on these particular videos, this is me learning by doing. So you're with me learning by doing. And so there it is right there. And we do have on the right-hand side of the screen, that's 60 down. What I'm going to do next in the lower right-hand corner is I'm going to hit that plus symbol. And I would actually like to do an orbit around the structure. We do have mapping orbits, so maybe that mapping orbits would be of interest to us. Once again, let's look down here. So that's the liftoff position, and we're going to use the same as the liftoff position. And I would like this, let's put it at 60 feet. And so look at that, that's orbit around it. That looks pretty interesting. Gimbal pitch is at 45 degrees, so let's push this out a little bit. And let's go ahead and check out the overlap as well. So the orbit radius 131.2, that looks good. Orbit overlap at 50%. I'm going to tap that, and let's get that to 70. So that's going to get us just a couple more images in here. We're going to go to advanced, and looking at advanced, we have the DJI Mavic Pro, switch side for connecting orbits, compute optimal flight. That's all looking good. So let's go back to that resolution really quickly. And so we're looking at 18 images. So we're going to put these images together with the other images of our flight over the top afterward, and we'll see what we get out of it if we get a decent structure. With all this done, I'm going to go ahead and hit generate. And so now it's showing me this flight path, and wow, that's pretty far out from the object. Maybe I'd like to, yeah, I'm going to make a second one of these here. And we're going to do that mapping orbits again. And we're going to set that drone coming right back to here. And let's use the same as liftoff again. All right, so we know that 131 feet might have been just a little too much. So let's bring that in. Ooh, and look, now we're getting some more orbits because of this. All right, so now we've got several more angles. I'm liking that, and I think we're going to give that a whirl. Let me go back over to advanced really quick, and just waiting on advanced to pop over. So this is looking good to me. Let's go back to that overlap, because we'd really like to show this building off, and I think having it closer there is going to do more. Plus we have more images that we can refer from. I'm liking that. I'm going to hit generate. And so now we have 3 generated missions on the right-hand side. And I believe it's this one right here. Nope, that is my top down. So let's go to the next one. Ooh, that's my closer orbit. So we can either do this big orbit out here, or we can do this one with multiple images. And actually, I say let's go with that big orbit first, just to try it out. And then we'll move on to those closer orbits as well. So once again, we're getting ready to fire up the drone, and I'm going to go ahead and hit that play button. And here we go again, precise images stopping, precise images not stopping. Let's go with precise images stopping, because that was really quick on the last one, to be honest. And I would like to see this model work. So I'm slowing things down here. I'm hitting next. So at the end of the mission, we're going to have it auto land and set the signal loss action. We're going to do continue mission. Yaw control, automatic. Gimbal control, automatic. So there's what our flight looks like. Let's go ahead and hit next. Once again, we've got that reminder of how to stop the mission. Everything's looking good. So we're going to go ahead and launch that drone. All right, and there it goes. And drone is going up. So this is going to be really interesting. So this is one really nice way to do orbits. I think as you become skilled with this, you won't make the kind of mistakes that I've made so far. I do like the idea of that closer orbit. And now let's go ahead and we're going to watch as the drone does its job. And actually, let's see. So I'm checking on screen, now I'm checking the drone. So, all right. it's still getting itself lined up for this. And we can see a lot of the parking lot area. So I'm just looking forward to when we start seeing the drone snap off these images. And also, let me see, my battery is at 67%, so we're good. All right, there we go. There's that angle. And it has stopped there, and it's taken the photo. All right, so this is working. So this could be interesting for more remote locations if you have some obstructions around, let's say, a home or something, that maybe you do tighter orbits to actually do the modeling. And while I'm looking at this, I don't know about you, but me looking at this right now, I think some of the shingles on the roof really are in disrepair. So this might be a nice thing to pass along to a roofer to let them know, hey, contact the city of Prescott and offer your roofing services to fix this up, because that's looking rough. All right, so it's taking its next photo. And so one thing to note when you're doing 3D models or even 2D models, if the drone's moving really fast, if it's speeding along, you introduce more blur into the images that you're taking, and doesn't make for a good model. So that's why I slowed this down. And then I also made the decision to go ahead and have it stop to do this. Since we've got the time, we're not in a rush, this isn't a giant job site, this is a smaller location, we can afford to burn the batteries and make something really usable for ourselves. One other thing to just share with you as I'm watching the drone here, down behind the camera, there's a boat launch for Watson Lake Park, and there's got to be 6 people down there right now, and they are sailing radio-controlled small sailboats. So every time I've come down here, I've seen more and more folks out there with RC boats. So that's really cool. But these are all RC sailboats, which is even cooler. So it's not just drone pilots who enjoy Watson Lake. Apparently, RC-controlled sailing groups come down here as well. So this place has a little bit of everything for everyone. And as you can see, drone is still within our visual line of sight. We're now photographing the shaded area of the gazebo. I don't think we're going to do that multi-flight that we had on there. I think that multi-flight might be something to toss out the window, actually, because way too many waypoints for what we're doing here. So we're just doing something super simple here right now. We did that grid over the top of it, and now we're doing this orbit. And I think that's where we're going to stop it today, because we're going to bring the rest of this video back to the office, and then I also have to assemble the model to see, how did this model work out? Did this orbit and did this grid do the job for us? And I'm hoping the answer is yes, because that will fulfill one more of my needs for my business. It's nice to have everything in one package. So that's been one of my hopes for Drone Harmony since I've started testing it, is that I can set everything up that I need to set up. And all right, that should probably be the last one. It's looking like it to me. And the drone's making its way back over. So it'll be coming in for a landing in a bit. Good morning. We've got a gentleman who is cycling on through, probably riding the Prescott Circle Trail, or at least the loop trail that goes around Watson Lake. So yep, we've got the drone coming back to us, looking really good. Looking like it's going to land where we wanted it to take its landing. And taking its sweet time though. Really slow moving. But I did set it to a low speed, so that's on me. All right, and it's just about back to where it started from. So there we go. It should start beeping any moment now to let me know that it's doing its landing. So in today's video tutorial, we've flown a couple of missions using Drone Harmony. We did that grid-styled pattern, and then we did one simple orbit. We also created a much more complicated orbit that I think maybe, just maybe, was slightly overkill. So let's go with this simple setup, see how this simple setup worked out. And of course, down the road, we are going to be doing much more complicated setups. But I figured for today, we just get things started. All right, everyone, we'll see you back at the office where we throw all this stuff into to Metashape, and we'll see if we made a model or if I just totally whiffed it. See you soon.